Hello everyone, I all hope you had a very wonderful, beautiful morning and a very much of a great day indeed, guys. Well, as you can see, guys, it is extremely super hot today. So I all hope you're enjoying your morning and as well your great day. Despite this, guys, I'm very quietly, superly grateful for you guys in viewing and watching my episodes. It greatly, completely means a lot to me. As in, literally, completely means a lot to me. And for those of you who are also subscribing as well, very thankful for that as well. Despite that, guys, I'm very superly grateful for your support in watching and in viewing my episode. It means a lot to me from shorts and also from long videos as well. So may God completely bless you all. On today's episode, we're to speak about a very powerful, a very formidable supervillain known as Red Star, who is a warlord and a power and a formidable mastermind of the Star Empire and a high-ranking member of a secretive ancient secret society of supervillains known as Dark Star, that wants to control and conquer the sacred universe so that they have sole dominance over the known universe and over the rest of sacred existence in the process to further their ultimate plans and their ultimate goals. So let's begin. In Red Star's early life, known as Warlord Red Star's early life, he was one of the most powerful high-ranking warlords and leaders of the Star Empire for many generations and for many centuries, during which at that time he led a powerful, merciful invasion on many other worlds in civilization with his massive fleet of battle cruisers and airship fleet under his control and under his command, during which at the time the Star King was heavily alive and thriving very well, which he planned to begin to wage an all-out war, with the sacred universe for sole control over, or with the sacred universe, with the over fighting waging war with the four nation hunters over the sacred for to have sole control over the sacred universe in the process. Despite this, Red Star began planning the calculational plans and also the future plans and the glory of the Star Empire, so that the Star King would remarkably successfully succeed in his plans in conquering the sacred universe. Despite this, both universes suffered enormous amounts of heavy casualties from both sides, as the battle cruisers of the Star Empire and of the battle cruisers of the Four Nation Hunters were heavily decimated from the war fronts, which Red Star was very completely surprised with this and very much completely unadmirable with this. During which at that same time, within many years ago and centuries ago, the Star King died during the Great Battle, which left the Star Empire in great peril and great ruins from its own forces. At which at that time the Star Empire leaders and leaders and elders decided to selectively select the next leader about select the next to select the next leader about within the Star Empire royal family of the bloodline, to become the next one in charge and to lead the Star Empire. The Star Witch Queen suggested her son should take over the Star Empire, and Red Star also quietly voted with the Star Witch Queen in order to suggest that her son is the worthy candidate to lead the Star Empire in the process as well. Despite this, the Star Prince successfully agreed to the promotion, and he exactly reassured the elders and the members of the Star Empire and the rest of the Star Universal worlds and planets that he will lead them with great authority and that he will eventually succeed and do the utmost impossible mission that his father himself could not exactly do, by conquering and placing sole dominance over the sacred universe and over the Mixel universe, the robotics universe, the golden universe, and also the over universe and the light universe and the dark universe, by having sole control over those universes by any means necessary at all costs as well. Over the following centuries, the Star Prince has been able to rule the Star Empire with a great iron fist and with great leadership, which he met up with Red Star throughout his ancient throughout his ancient quarters of his ancient timbers, and told Red Star that his mission has to start taking place in making sure that the conquest of the Star Empire is fully quietly underhand and under control, that his long-term plans may successfully bear fruit as well. Red Star completely agreed with the Star Prince, that the Star's empire's goal and plans must successfully bear fruit, which the Star Prince decided it is best to dispatch Red Star across the fringes of the known worlds, across the fringes of the known worlds of the known universe, so that he can begin conquering and laying waste to many thousands of planets and worlds and civilization throughout the known universes, so that the Star Empire can have many territories and many lands and worlds that have been conquered and placed under their sole control, in order for the Empire to grow mercifully more powerful and mercifully more dangerous as well. The Star Wars Queen told the Star Prince that in a matter of time they will have to form their own ancient secret society that can exactly help the Star Empire bear fruit to its long-term plans and goals in the process. And Red Star completely agreed with that as well, that with these tactics and with these planning and with these coordination and with these powerful, formidable strategy and tactician, the Star Empire's dream and legacy and long-term plans would successfully bear fruit to its alternative goals in conquering and in controlling the known universe and the rest of the sacred universe in the process. And the Star Prince reluctantly agreed with that as well. Over the following centuries, Red Star has managed to conquer thousands of vast known worlds throughout the rest of the Star Empire's history, which he managed to place them under his sole control, building powerful, magnificent, ancient temples and great statues of the Star Prince and the Star King in order to resemble their power and their great power and their great statue power and their honor, in order to honor them as the rightful leaders and saviors of the Star Empire and of the known civilization. So of the known other worlds of the rest of the star, so of the known so of the rest of the known worlds of the sacred magical worlds and of the other volcanic island civilization that are quietly filled with warlocks and witches and druids, also became to believe that the Star King and the Star Prince were revered as saviors of the rest of their known universes. Over time, Red Star managed to build a giant fortress a fortress for himself, for his empire, and for the rest of his faction, in order for the Star Empire to controlling as much of the populated area and conquered worlds and cities that are placed under the Star Empire's control, so that he would have more power and have more allegiances under his sole control as well. During which, at that time, Red Star received a hologram invitation by the Star Prince, stated to him that it's time for him to come back to the Star Empire's central command when he has something big in order to tell them as well. And he gratefully agreed with that. During which, at that time, Red Star, known as the Warlord Red Star Mastermind Supervillain, began attending a meeting with all the other Star Warlord representative, where the Star Witch Queen and the Star Prince announced to themselves that their ancient secret society will be known as Dark Star, with the sole goal and purpose and ingenuity to conquering and controlling the sacred universe and the golden universe, the Mixel universe, the robotics universe, the over universe, and the over universe, the robotics and over universe, and the light universe and the dark universe in the process, to make sure that their control remains feminine and it remains strong and indestructible as well in the process. Despite this, Red Star completely agreed that he's an official member of Dark Star, and the Star Wars Queen reassured the members of Dark Star that their plans will successfully begin to bear fruit. All they have to do is wait for the right time and for the right strategy in order for their plans to successfully bear fruit. In the meantime, they should begin with the orchestration and everything else in order to make sure that the coordinated events go precisely according to plan, the way they intended to be. Red Star began to reassuring the members of the Dark Star, the members of the ancient secret society of Dark Star, that the plans will successfully going according to plan, as he's managed to create thousands of multiply of simulations and calculations that the efforts will be required to be put to the test if he's willing to test them out himself. The Star Prince exactly told Red Star that he needs to begin with his own missions that will soon benefit the organization and the Empire in the process. So in other words, Red Star has his own assignments, and so do the rest of the members of the organization, who are all known now as officially associates over together. And the Star Prince and the Star Witch Queen agreed that now it's time for them to move forward with the next step of their plan by any means necessary. On the 20th of January, Red Star has begun his global campaign in conquering many worlds and many civilizations, as he began raining down on many worlds and planets and civilization with his full armada of battle cruisers and warships under his command, and he managed to destroy some of those worlds and civilization as the rest of the Four Nation Hunters were forced to take immediate effective action in order to stop the chaos and the destruction. But the most powerful high-ranking official known as Red Star, who was beginning a full global campaign so that the Star Empire would have sole control, during which Red Star became very quietly sadistically happy, and it began to sadistically be very much quietly relish in the interference of the Four Nation Hunters, as he began to learn that the Four Nation Hunters are becoming a greater threat, and at this time they highly organized and highly more effectiveness of a greater threat that can easily pose to his true objectives in conquering other worlds and other civilization in the process. On the 15th of February, on the 15th of February, Red Star and the other Star Empire warlords and commanders convene at the ancient ruins of a magical crystal cave, where they'll be able to speaking about the preparations of the conquest and all the other goals. Red Star told the other warlords and all the other warlords and commanders of the Star Empire that all they have to do is make sure that everything else is going according to plan, the way it's intended to be, in order for the conquest to fully begin bearing fruit. The warlords and commanders told him that the Shadow Empire is too powerful and it is too risky, that it has created a major power vacuum that has already benefited some of the other warlords and commanders in the process, that it's currently led by another supervillain known as Red Bolt, who's a current leader of the original Shadow Empire, and also a founder and a leader of an ancient, powerful secret society of supervillains known as the Dark Order. Despite this, Red Star began to reassure the Star Warlords representative that everything else will go according to plan, the way it's intended to be, by at all cost, even if it means by destroying the Shadow Empire in the process to have sole control and sole dominance over the sacred universe, will be the first step for the Star Empire's dominance to begin raining down. On the 15th of March, the members of the Dark Star began secretly convening on the central headquarters of the Star Empire central headquarters in a holographic hologram, where the Star Prince began telling the members of Dark Star that their planning and preparations are successfully beginning to bear fruit, and that their war with the Shadow Empire has managed to court the attention of many powerful individuals, foes, and adversaries in the process. Despite this, Red Star began telling the Star Prince to never underestimate Red Bolt, who's too much of a powerful threat and who can never be underestimated. He and his ancient secret society, known as the Dark Order, have been manipulating many secret recent events throughout the sacred wars, conflicts and battles that have been fighting up against the Universal Heroes and the Intergalactic Coalition as well in the process. The Star Prince told the members of Dark Star and as well as Red Star that they have a new ally on their goals and on their mission, and the Universal Prince is now their partner and who's aiding him with his respective conquests and goals, meaning that the members of the Order of the 12 share their goal, and they also as well share their goal and their mission, meaning in other words, the Universal Prince and his secret society, known as the Order of the 12, has decided to help them to further our long-term goals and their long-term plans, as long as we share their resources equally and aid each other on our respective conquests. The Red Star was very quietly reassured that now things are going according to plan, the way they needed to be. And the Star Prince began telling the members of Dark Star that the planning has begun taking place and that the organization and the Empire will soon have sole control over the sacred universe and over the rest of sacred existence in the process as well. On the 20th of April, Red Star remained throughout his central headquarters of his throne room, throughout the rest of the ancient fortress that has managed to build around the ancient conquered worlds and cities and planets, able to try to come up with a very better strategy and a very wiser tactical strategy in order for the Star Empire to begin its full global campaign in conquering many worlds and many civilizations in the process, which he began thinking of many ways so that he could use it to his advantage and also to his disposal in order to wiping out any obstacles that dare get in the way of his process of his plans. On the 15th of June, on the 15th of May, Red Star began meeting up with the other Star warlords and with the other Star warlords and commanders on their secretive bases as they began to read, telling him that the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders had begun an all-out war with the Star Empire and that the Star universe is completely dying out. It is completely recently dying out and is completely dying out and is being ravaged by a powerful curse of the unknown, by a powerful dark curse which is quietly unknown, and the rest of the worlds and planets are completely dying out. Red Star began to reassure the Star Empire warlords and commanders that their glory and their full reign is for them to conquer the sacred universe at all costs and is to beat the Shadow Empire at its own game, at its own game. And by meaning is to fighting it and into wage war with the against the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, making sure that the two empires are locked in war, which could benefit them in numerous ways as well. But the other Star Empire warlords and commanders began becoming very skeptical of Red Star's intentions and his goal as Red Star begins to tell them that the planning and the full details of the plan will successfully go accordingly to schedule the way they were designed to be, without any further interference from the outside threats or any obstacles which they intend to wipe out in the process as well. On the 15th of June, Red Star attended a conference, began to convene with the other members of Dark Star on an ancient dark crystal temple within the Star universe, where the Star Witch Queen began to tell the members of the Dark Star that the organization and the rest of the Star Empire controls as much of the conquered worlds and planets and civilization, but they cannot undermine and underestimate the Shadow Empire's battle tactics and strategy, which have become too highly advanced and too highly operated, and they can never be taken lightly. Red Star began to reassuring the members of Dark Star that the plan has been quietly put in place and that everything else is going according to plan, the way it's supposed to be. The schedule has been implemented, the way it's already done. He already studied the Shadow Empire battle tactics and everything else and all the informational source, and everything else is ready for them to take action and effective action by all means. The Star Prince began telling Red Star in order for him to begin his initial next phase of the plan in order for the Star Empire to have sole control over known worlds and over known planets, meaning in other words, wiping out the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders on the other side of the sacred universe needs to have a first priority, and Red Star agreed that he knows exactly what he has to do. On the 29th of July, Red Star and the rest of his battlecruiser fleet began an all-out assault and an all-out invasion on the sacred worlds and planets on the sacred worlds and planets on the other side of the known universe in order to fight against the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, which both sides suffered enormous amounts of heavy casualties, but Red Star was watching through the monitors that the Star Empire remained victorious throughout the battle, and that it has managed to control those conquered worlds and territories and managed to be putting them secretly under the control of the organization, under the control over the Star Empire in the process as well. On the 19th of August, Red Star began to secretly convene with the members of Dark Star on another ancient crystal dark temple within the Star universe, where the Star Prince began telling the members of Dark Star that he has decided in order to form an alliance with Red Bolt and the Shadow Empire, which could benefit them in numerous ways against a common enemy and against a common enemy and against a common enemy and against the greatest common enemy known as the Universal Heroes and the members of the Intergalactic Coalition and the Four Nation Hunters will have to be wiped out, which they agree that their interference has caused too much of their problems and their plans not to systematically bear fruit. Red Star began to warn the Star Prince and the rest of the members of the Dark Star to never underestimate the members of the Universal Heroes ability and the members of the Intergalactic Coalition of the Four Nation Hunters, which they've been able to be too smart and too too powerful not to be taken lightly with their abilities in thwarting the enemy's operation and the successful plans in the process. The Star Prince began to reassure the members of Dark Star that he has the situation perfectly under control as he managed in order to find a common ground with his greatest competitor, known as Red Bolt, that the both of them have decided to utilize their resources to fight against their common enemy, the Universal Heroes and the Four Nation Hunters and the Intergalactic Coalition, by utilizing the Star Empire's resources and the Shadow Empire's resources to fight against their greatest common enemy. By doing so, both empires will have sole dominance and sole control over the sacred universe and over the Star universe and over the other universes in the process, and their dominance will prove to be too powerful for any threat or any foe adversary or any obstacle in order for them to face it. Red Star was very successfully pleased as he relishes making sure that everything now is going according to plan, the way it's intended to be as well. On the 15th of September, Red Star began secretly convening with the dark magic users of the Star Druids and the Star Witches and the Star Faithful, as they gave him all the intelligence and all the information on what the Intergalactic Coalition and the Universal Heroes are literally up to. Red Star was very systematically pleased as he told the dark magic users that it's time for him to test out a little bit of a theory for a little bit of in order for him to test out a theory of his own in order to make sure that he does not repeat the same mistakes as his previous adversaries ever did before. And there's only one way for that to successfully happen, and for that to happen he needs the dark magic users at his side. And the other dark magic users completely agreed that they at the disposal of Dark Star and at the disposal of the Star Empire as well in the process. And Red Star told them that it's time for the first phase to take action. On the 20th of October, a group of dark formidable star druids and dark star druids and warlocks and witches and faithful began using their dark magic to besiege the ancient magical worlds and planet at hand in order to destroy and decimate one of their own kind, such as the warlocks, witches, werewolves, fairies, and witches, warlocks, fairies, warlocks, fairies, and magical creatures, and formation hunters and light hunters in a magical world, which they began to systematically attack and destroy and decimate with their own dark magic. The war between two sides waged on as Red Star was able to monitor the battlefield and the war and the battle from his monitors throughout his central headquarters, as he realized that the universal magic heroes and the universal magical and the powers of their magical abilities are too powerful and they're not meant to be taken lightly as well. He told the dark magic users to withdraw from the battle, and the others were completely decimated as the heroes and the rest of the inhabitants remained victorious. On the 20th of November, Red Star completely secretly convened with the members of Red Star, with the members of Dark Star, and told them that the universal magic heroes and universal magical abilities, in taking them down alone and by themselves, is too risky, that they can never be underestimated. The Star Prince began to reassure Red Star and the members of Dark Star that the plan is now to begin taking place, and at the next step of the revolutionary tool has been used to the advantage, thanks to the Universal Prince, who is now their new partner or the organization of their goal. They've managed to utilize his resources, and due to that, they've gained new intelligence and new information, stated to that the new Lord of Magic and his new ancient secret society, known as the Order of Power, is successfully rising and also working behind the scenes and also working and operating in the shadows of the sacred world, and the rest of the sacred universe has reformed and reassembled his group that had existed for many centuries ago, and that he's reforming and rebuilding his new shadow empire from the shadows as well. Despite this, the Star Prince told the members of Dark Star that the plan is finally taking place, and that the conquest and full glory of the Star Empire and of the Shadow Empire and of the Order of the Twelfth and Dark Star will be theirs to bear, and the demise of the enemy will be their glorious victory for them to successfully take in wiping them all out and completely putting the Universal Prince at the Universal Throne, for him to have all the power to creating chaos and destruction upon his wake, which will benefit them in many ways that they can never imagine. And Red Star was successfully reassured of that, as he was very completely successfully pleased with the details of the full scope of the plan now. On the 29th of December, Red Star, the mastermind and the warlord of the Star Empire and a member of the Dark Star, met up with the other Star warlords and commanders and told them that the plans and preparation have been able to be taking action, and that everything else can begin with the full details of the plan. The Star Empire warlords and commanders exactly told him that the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders want to supply the powerful destructive technology to Dark Star and to the rest of the organization and to the rest of the empire. And Red Star was successfully very pleased. Now things are taking a very much of a good turn indeed. On the 10th of January, Red Star secretly met up with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders on an ancient, powerful dark crystal cave where they actually supplied each other with destructive and more compatible technology, as Red Star reassured the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders that now that they partnership with the Star Empire and the Shadow Empire is now being reformed and being able to be rebuilt from scratch since all their lost friction and their confrontation against each other to fight over one universe has become a united front against their enemies and foes. Now the resources can be split and shared to their top competitors to making sure that the game keeps on going and that they will be able to benefit more conquered worlds and more planets that the Star Empire has conquered. And the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders were very successfully reassured and very successfully happy now that the plan has begun taking place as well. On the 15th of January, Red Star attended a video conference held by the Star Prince, who the Star Prince began to reassuring the Shadow Empire warlord that everything else is going according to plan and that he's successfully pleased with the plans and tactics in order to wipe out the intergalactic coalition. And he praised them and said to them that the organization of Darkstar is successfully pleased with his effort and with his work, and that he's finally completely welcomed as an ally to the Star Empire and also to the Dark Star organization, meaning in other words, he's completely an ally of the organization and as well of the Empire. And that for doing so, the rest of the members of Dark Star were successfully happy with the efforts that the Shadow Empire warlords has delivered and the result has he delivered straightly to the organization and to the Empire as well, which completely has benefited them in many ways. And Red Star was completely present throughout the video conference as well. On the 15th of February, Red Star began sitting on his throne home throughout the conquered worlds and planets as he was very completely happy and that things began taking place the way they were meant to be, and that order will soon be restored and that chaos will soon reign once again, and that the full domination and that the universal domination goal will successfully bear fruit to the sole one ruler of the known universe and the rest of the sacred universe, which will be the Star Prince and Red Bolt and the new Lord of Magic, and as well as the Universal Prince and the Dark King and Dark Grey and the Sacred Founders and the rest of the unknown powerful competitors of the rest of the unknown powerful competitors of the ancient secret society groups who remain the sole rulers of the cosmos, which he began to believe that the revelation and the age of darkness has finally begun its full reign and campaign, and that mighty, powerful universal heroes and the Four-Nation Hunters and the Intergalactic Coalition, that there's nothing they can do about it to stop the inevitable from taking place, which it will soon. Despite this, guys, Red Star is completely intelligent and completely smart and very resilient and very determined and very, very ambitious, as he's willing to make sure that the future plans and goals of the organization and the secret society and the secret shadowy organization of Dark Star remains intact, and that its goals and its long-term plans and goals bear fruit, and as well that can benefit the empire known as the Star Empire in the process. He has lived for centuries and for many, many years throughout the Star Empire and throughout the Star Universe, believing that the Star Empire is destined to conquer the rest of the rest of the known universe and the rest of the known world, especially by conquering the sacred universe and the sacred world in the process, in order to further its ultimate plans and goals. So that in order for it to further its ultimate plans and goals, despite this, he's a very powerful individual warlord who has been part of the Star Empire for many centuries. Due to his expertise and talent, the Star Empire has managed to ravage thousands of worlds and planets and civilization throughout the Star Empire's history, due to the work and wonders of Red Star's greatest intellect and due to Red Star's greatest intellect and intelligence that has been able to help the Star Empire conquering many worlds and civilizations in that process, and as well due to his greatest imaginations and to his creations and to his devices. Red Star has been so very carefully and very strict with his plans. He's very patient with his strategy, and due to his technical technicians and orchestrating and also strategists and technical plans, the Star Empire and the organization have remained in power and as well indestructible throughout the Star Universe for many centuries and for many years to come. He's very skilled in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, swordsmanship, hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, endurance and agility, super limping, super hearing, super speed, super strength, and very, very gifted in regenerative healing, and very intelligent and well with swords and guns, very skilled in deception, and very skilled in shapeshifting. Red Star is a very powerful, formidable mastermind who can never be underestimated. According to the Four Nation Hunters database, Red Star is one of the most formidable warlords that has conquered thousands of known worlds throughout the sacred world's history and managed to lay waste to all of them, to volcanic worlds, cities, planets, magical civilization. Due to his engineering abilities, he's managed to orchestrate and manipulate events that can benefit the organization and as well the Star Empire in the process. He has a huge fleet and armada of battle cruisers and airship fleet and hot air balloons and battleships at his command, which he uses it to wage wars and battles and invasion on many known worlds and planets throughout sacred history. According to sacred history and according to the Star Universe history, Red Star is so ruthless and so devoted to the organization and as well to its goals and plans and to the empire, to making sure that the Star Empire and the organization of the Star Empire remains indestructible. He believes in the divinity. He believes in the great divinity and in the obligation of the Star Prince's mission and objectives and goals, and in the organization's goals and mission to conquering and ruling many worlds and many known planets in the process, which is willing to make sure that they successfully bear fruit. Due to his great skill of deception, and strategist, he is able to work from the shadows and from behind the shadows from the scenes of the Star Universe and from the organization, to making sure that the secret society shadowy organization known as the Dark Star remains operating from the shadows of the sacred world and from the rest of the Star Universe. Due to this, he's managed to use his ultimate resources to make sure that the Star Empire benefits from conquering thousands of worlds and planets in a matter of minutes and in a matter of days. Due to this, he even forms formidable alliances with powerful dark magic users known as the Star Warlords and the Star Druids and the Star Witches and the Star Faithful, who are the most powerful dark magic users, and the Shadow Empire Warlords and Commanders, which they could also benefit from conquering many worlds. In return, he supplies them the conquered worlds, and in return, the Shadow Empire Warlords and Commanders supply the Star Empire with more destructive and compatible technology, which they all have agreed to exchange to one another. Now that they have formed a formidable alliance with the Shadow Empire and with the Star Empire, that the Star Prince and Red Bolt have agreed to aid each other on the great respective goals and missions to conquering the sacred universe and the Star Universe and the other universe, in the process to eliminating their greatest adversaries and foes known as the Universal Heroes and the Four Nation Hunters and the Intergalactic Coalition. As long as the Order of the 12 and the Universal Prince will benefit from this glory of the conquest and from the mission, as long as the Universal Prince and the Order of the 12 will benefit from the glory of the conquest, which will put the Universal Prince on the Universal Throne, where he can unleash total chaos and destruction, which the Star Empire and the Shadow Empire will benefit from by having sole control and dominance over the sacred universe and over the sacred world, by eliminating and annihilating the Four Nation Hunters and the rest of the resistance of the Intergalactic Coalition, of the United Heroes and of the World Heroes and of the Universal Heroes in the process. He is very ruthless, very formidable, very powerful, and very dangerous. He's extremely immortal, lived for centuries and for many, many years to come. And he's been known and heard throughout the rest of the Star Universe's history, just due to his ruthlessness and due to his ruthlessness, and as well to his patience in attacking his enemies at the right precise time, not to rush into anything. Despite this, he's very obligated and so devoted to the organization and to his goals and to the secret society of the Dark Star and to the Star Empire, and is willing to do whatever it takes that their plans and their future long-term plans and goals successfully bear fruit in the process, as long as he can benefit from them. He's a high-ranking official of the Star Empire and a secretive member of a secret society of the Star Empire's organization known as Dark Star that is willing to make sure that the plans of the Empire successfully bear fruit and they can easily benefit the members and the Empire and its entire universe and its inhabitants and its civilization and its people in the process so that they remain the sole rulers of the sacred universe and of the sacred world as long as it benefits them. He believes in that and is willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that those plans successfully bear fruit. He maintains his usual bases of operation, such as his central headquarters, which is his ancient, powerful, magnificent fortress, his crystal dark fortress, and he uses the other bases of operation, such as ancient caves and ancient dark crystal temple, to secretly convene and meet with the members of Dark Star and the rest of the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders representative in full secrecy, and with the other Star warlords and commanders as well in full secrecy, where they can discuss their future plans and their goals and their strategies and their technical plans so that the Star Empire and the organization can begin and their goals so that the organization's goals can begin to bear fruit. Due to this, him being a secretive member of a secret shadowy organization known as Dark Star that manipulates the Star Empire from the shadows and from behind the scenes. He's willing to utilize his ultimate resources to make sure that the organization's goals and plans successfully benefit the Empire and it forming formidable, powerful alliances with other secretive ancient secret society such as the Order of the 12 and as well the Dark Order, which have been led by the most powerful ancient villains known as the Universal Prince, who's the founder and leader of the Order of the 12, and Red Bolt, who's the founder and leader of the Dark Order, who's now the current leader of the original Shadow Empire, which have now joined forces with the Star Empire. Due to this, Red Star is very obligated and very determined and a full believer that the Star Empire is destined to rule the other sacred universes in the process, and is willing to do whatever it takes that the Star Empire remains in power and also in control over the sacred galactic dark war that's been going on for past millennia and for centuries and for many, many centuries ago. Despite this, he's very devoted and very ambitious and very ruthless and very smart and intelligent. Not meant to be underestimated. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I'll actually see you tomorrow as well. So have a wonderful, blessed day and a very great day indeed, and a very great day and a great morning indeed. Take care of yourself and also God bless you all. Appreciate your support in watching and viewing and subscribing. Like and subscribe, and also have a wonderful, blessed day. And God bless you all. Take care.